Good morning, Rabbi Isai. It's a little confusing. It's Motzei Shabbos in America, but it's morning in Eretz Yisrael. We go by the morning shir in Eretz Yisrael. So we're here live in Miami, in David Salmon's house. It's unbelievable. Last minute kind of things. Hashgacha Pratis. He saved the siyum for us. He just made a siyum on Sechta Shabbos. Mazel Tov. Your house should be a place of simchas, of finishing mesechtas, showing your kids what's important in life, learning every day in front of your mishpacha, and making siyumim here. Be'ezer Hashem should make a siyum on all of Shas and continue to make siyumim one after another here. Amen. This Shabbos was a special Shabbos for me today. I was a sandik, so maybe my bracha has a little bit more. My son, my b'char, which is a whole hashgacha pratis in itself, sitting here right next to Reb Eli Rizal. I didn't see it yet. It's on my list. Can I watch it in the bathroom? Is the Divrei Torah there? I have to find the right spot. I heard from a bunch of people it's kedai to watch. What is it? Some meaningful people? Inspiration. Yaakov Langer. Oh, Yaakov Langer. So check it out. It's kedai. It talks about chashivas haTorah. Yeah. What else? Chashivas haTorah. What else? Wow. So you could appreciate this. And Aaron said this in public. I said it hit me the day that his son was born. 12 years ago, on the 6th day of Hanukkah, he was released from jail. And 12 years to the day, he had a baby boy. And he got up today, he spoke beautifully, and he said that Yosef HaTzadik was in jail for 12 years. Is it true? 12 years. And the Kitzur, he gave a whole drasha how a lot of coincidences, and he named his son Yishai Kalman. He's very connected to the Chavis HaTalmidim, to the Ish Kodesh. I don't even know how to pronounce his name. The P.S. Esner. There you go. It's a tough one for me. The P.S. Esner, and his name was Kalman, so you named him Kalman. Just to show you his he's come a long way. That he's learning, and he learns every day. I bought him a pair of tchelas. So he was wearing tchelas and learning in his house. I was able to nachas. So Be'ez Hashem, Yishai Kalman should grow up to be a big Talmud Chacham and a light to Klal Yisrael and to the nations. And Be'ez Hashem, you'll hear from him. Stam, I mean, this whole thing, I don't know if you know, you live here in Miami, so I'll just tell you that Aaron is a person who worked on himself tremendously to the point, this is the hashgacha to understand where he came from, that today he's Isaaking in helping other people. This is what he does. I don't know if you ever heard of Tikkun. He's a partner in Tikkun. They do the breath work. It's just about, helping people realize their potentials, and you can't get he does coaching, so you can't, he's booked for the next half a year solid. So Baruch Hashem, from where he came from, that matzav over there 12 years ago, everybody could turn their life around, and he's one of them. He's living proof. So we're very proud of him. Mazel tov. Shkoyach. This was a picture taken today of David Salomon. I'm going to talk about him in a second. Just want to show you this.
Maybe you blinked when Ravelli said, guys, don't blink. Here's the deal. The Shabbaton is coming up and it's going to sell out really, really fast. And then it's going to be open for a few hours. And if you want to grab your room, you have to grab it right now. And then you woke up and you said, this is crazy because I'm part of the MDY family and it's an opportunity for you to connect and to grow and to sing and to dance with this mission that we're all part of in an extended way. Well, here's your opportunity because the people behind the scenes have put aside a few rooms. And you can still grab one of them by participating in the upcoming MDY raffle. You get your ticket today, you have an amazing opportunity to spend an uplifting Shabbos with Ravelli and all the graphic designers and all the people that you see coming to the shiur, but you can be there. And I look forward to spending an amazing Shabbos with you in the upcoming MDY Shabbaton.
We got another hotel this year, almost 100 rooms more. And we sold it within 3 days, I think. It was crazy. Mamish Meshuga. So I don't know what we're going to do next year. MDY family, Shidduch, Mazel Tov to Menachem Ateh. Spoke about it. Here's just a picture of Menachem Ateh on the left, all the way on the left, and Ben Novak all the way on the right. Menachem Ateh's son is in the middle. Gershon Ben Moshe, the guy that does the camera work every day, is the one standing up over there. This was Erev Shabbos in Miami Square. Diesel funding. What's YI of West Hempstead? Soft launched, what? Young Israel. Okay. Where's Hempstead? Oh, there, what's his name? The daughter's a ping pong champion or something. Who?
SD Ackerman. I played with her at pizza program.
SD Ackerman. There you go. Dear Rebelli, our fellow New Wire, Yaakov Yosef, is she still good? Did she beat you?
That was the problem. She only came for a few seconds. She was leaving, grinding out the whole pace out.
Our fellow MD Wire, Rabbi Yaakov Yosef Leifler's father was Nifter. Rabbi Yaakov Yosef is one of the pillars of the major learning matzav at Rabbi Mendy Kaf's house every night. The shiv is taking place at 1330 43rd Street in Borough Park. When we have Simchas the Shir going forward, then the Chaver from Mendy Kaf's house. Sheitel boys as well. The Sheitel boys isn't something else, but Sheitel boys, those who know, they learn Torah every day in one of the mother's Sheitel Macher's rooms over there. Dear Rebelli, Paisel Goodman forwarded me a clip of tomorrow's shir. I heard you mention that you didn't see yourself doing the mitzvah of kidney donation. I just said it's very difficult for me to picture myself, surgery, the whole thing. I admire anybody that does it. As someone who was donated a kidney recently, sells Shavuos Daf 19. He goes by the Daf. It doesn't say May 20th, 2025. It's Daf, Shavuos Daf 19. I got it. I can assure you that anyone can do it. It really isn't much different than Daf Yomi after all. Who among us thought on Brachas Daf Beis would still be here every day? Yet here we are. In fact, I'm sure Daf Yomi has a lot to do with me saying yes when I was told I was a match. Daf Yomi saves lives, literally. All the best, Perry. And Victor Weiss, Mishgiach, caught doing the Daf Seik Das Shul kitchen. Check this out. This is my father, Jack Super, of Corpus Christi, Texas, studying the Daf on board the Celebrity Beyond, the middle of the Caribbean, celebrating their 60th wedding anniversary with 24 of their closest family friends. Have a super day. Mazel tov on your bris, Ben Super. So here he is with the MDY cap on a cruise, doing the Daf with all his friends over there. The Masechta is sponsored by David Salomon, Rabbi Isai, David Salomon. Here we are. Dedicated in memory of Abi Meiri, Reb Shmuel Baruch Ben Reb Chaim Tzvi Doi Zuchron Lebracha, who's shepping nachas from his son right now. Nifter Yud Zayin Yor. Masechta sponsored anonymous. Lili Nishmas Doidi Shlomi Yehuda Zuchron Lebracha Ben Shmuel Chaim Zuchron Lebracha Shashaka V'Lamed Kochim Kol Chayev anonymous. Zech Nishmas Nachum Tzvi Ben David sponsored by Skyber Capital in honor of our friends Meir Kovacs Taki Jam Shlafrak with the devotion Torah studying this year. Joel Gedalis, Lili Nishmas my father Jack Gedalis anonymous. And Slow Baruch Tzvi Gashmias. Koil sponsors anonymous from London, Parasa B'Shefa, anonymous from London, and Slachim Shefa is the monthly sponsor. Ariel Simon, the Refuah Shlema, Abi Meiri, Baruch Ben Miriam, Esther Walkenstein, Mazel to my husband Kalman and Tana Walkenstein on his 40th birthday. Weekly sponsors: Leiba, and Libby Tenenbaum. Refuah Shlema B'Kar of Chaim Dov Ben Gittel Schonblum, anonymous as a schus for seemingly never-ending business deal to close ASAP. Marvin Diamond, in honor of my father and my mother. Paul Diamond, Pesach, Hill Ben Avram, Tzvi, and Sonia Diamond, Sarah, Etyo Bas Avram. I hope Hashem knows what he's talking about. Shiri Gordon and the entire family, in honor of Yechiel Gordon, on 1,000 days of the Daf with Rebelli, continue to inspire us all. 1,000 days, Rabbi says, no joke. MDYR, before Shlema Yonatan Eidim Ben B'Shev Bracha, before Shlema Mordechai Ben Esther, before Sayelad Daniel Zev Ben Ayelad Esther. Oisai. We're holding on the bottom of the Kuv Dalad Amid Beis. Boy Rebbe Elazar. I heard a murder Maisa today that this is unbelievable. You know how they say that a shoemaker's son goes barefoot. Today, David Salmon called somebody up and said, hey, how do we make copies of this Gemara? Maisa Shahaya, you can't make this stuff up. Does anybody know how to make copies for this Gemara? Again, Mr. E-Copier is calling people up. He's struggling with the copy machine. It's a sales tactic. Is it a Maisa Shaya? Do you have a copy machine in this house?
We have a printer.
Boy Rebbe Lazar. 4 lines from the bottom. Paraman Israfim, Usirman Israfim. So you have these bulls that you have to burn completely. You have the goats you have to burn. They have to do usually with Yom Kippur or the Parhelam Davar. Sometimes you have to burn Karbanis. Shiyotza Ruboy B'miyot Ever. Ooh, I really wanted to get. Do you have like some sort of doll here that has hands, feet, something? We have to do something here for this. I was gonna bring one and then I forgot. Anything like a flexible doll, some like mushy kind of thing. I need it quickly. Can't hold these people up. Fine. So here's the Shiloh. Roiv Aver came out of the Beis Hamikdash. Now we know that whoever deals with these bulls that have to be burned, they themselves become tamei. Similar to like the parah aduma, the one who deals with it becomes tamei. Let's see. What do we have here? It's what kind of doll is this? Oy vavoy. Oy vavoy. Okay, here. Fine. I don't know if this is gonna work. I really don't know. I needed some sort of leg here. Okay, maybe do you have like an animal kind of thing? An elephant, something. Gosh. Let's see. How do we do this? I don't even know how to do this. Okay. This is the center line of this animal. 50%, 50%. Now, with the hand over here, no. Let's do it differently. How do we do it? Okay, like this maybe. Here we go. This will, I think it will be understood better if we go like this. You see how the foot of this animal, we'll call it an animal, is, you have 50% up to here. In order for this animal to be considered 51%, I have to take the toes of this animal and bring it over the line. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm bringing the toes over the line. Yeah? What do you got? You got something else? Nothing. We're going to be stuck with this. Whatever. I have time. Stuffy, anything. Animal, something. You see what's going on here? Now, the whole leg of this animal belongs on this side. But the toes are over the line. So together with the toes, we have 50% on this side plus the toes. What does that equal to? 51%. So you have the roiv on this side. The thing is, that's only the toes. And the toes belong to the whole leg. And the whole leg, oh, that's much better. Much, much better. Thank you. Oh, now we're talking about, this is what I'm talking about. It comes perfect. It has the line already built in. Okay. This is great. Man, it's perfect. I knew we could do better. The purple part of this animal is 50%. The gray part of this animal is 50%. So now, here's the line. I move this out of the Beis Hamikdash. It's on the line. This half is in the Beis Hamikdash. This half is outside the Beis Hamikdash. And now I take a little bit of the foot, and it's above the line. So now I have 55% that's outside of the Beis Hamikdash. Do the people become tamei or not? Here's the question. Because if you look closely, this foot, these toes belong to this long foot. And this long foot is inside the Beis Hamikdash. The toes are outside of the Beis Hamikdash. So do I look at the toes and say, well, they belong to something that's much larger, the entire animal? Yeah? Klar? Okay. Oh, this is much better. I like this. So, says the Gemara. The way you got to arrive was with a little bit of the toes. Do I say that at the end of the day, the toes belong to the leg, the foot, and the foot is inside the Beis Hamikdash? It's not as if it's outside of the Beis Hamikdash. So therefore, this animal did not go out of the Beis Hamikdash. Or perhaps I go with the majority, and the majority is outside of the Beis Hamikdash because I'm going to include the toes, and with the toes you have 51%. Says the Gemara, of course, you have the roiv. The roiv went out of the Beis Hamikdash. That's not a shayla. Elo. What's the question? What happened was, so the truth is, can we get rid of this? Mark. I don't know what he's doing. He's looking at the news on my computer. Let's see if I don't like this so much, but he tried to do something here. Oh. So what did he do here? That's the first case. So what happened over here is that it's really 50-50. Only 50% went out of the Beis Hamikdash and 50% remained inside. It's not that you have 55 like we were talking about before. It's 50-50. But the way you got to 50% is because you used a majority of one of his Eivarim. And at the end of the day, perhaps Haimiyuta de Eiver Basar Roiv Eiver Shadin Alay Vaha Nafaklay Oidilma Basar Behema Shadin Alay. Do we go by the animal or do we go by the Eiver? And the Eiver is the Roiv, and will decide that you don't have that you have a majority. So really it's 50-50. It's not 55 and 45, it's 50-50. Do we use the Roiv to create a majority? Do we say the Aver is the Roiv, and therefore you have a majority? Take Rav Ravuna Masilo Begavri. Rav Ravuna said we're talking about human beings. Now, what happened? I don't know. I think Yoshi was in the middle of something here. I wasn't involved here, unfortunately, because it was Shabbos here, and the artist in Eretz Yisrael. So I couldn't really have much say. So I don't know what's going on with the art today. I call upon him. What happened was that the animal is outside the Beis Hamikdash, but we're talking about the people that are dealing with this animal. And you have 5 people that carry the animal out of the Beis Hamikdash. And 3 out of the 5 went out. Upashlu tray, and 2 remained inside. Mai. Basa roiv misaskin azlina. Do we go by the roiv of the people that are dealing with this animal? And most went out, so you have 3 against. So it's really roiv, and therefore they're all tamei. Basa behema azlinon, or not? Do we go by the behema? Now the animal happens to be is outside, so we don't look at the people. We look at the animal. So the animal is outside, but the people that are inside are tar, and those who are outside are tamei. So I showed you. I'm going to show you later. Yesterday we learned how the people holding this animal, as they leave the Beis Hamikdash, they become tamei one by one. So you can have a certain amount of people that are holding the animal that are tamei because they left the Beis Hamikdash. The people behind that are still carrying the animal, but they're in the Beis Hamikdash, they're still tar. Somebody once asked his child, "You have 5 candles, and you blow out 2 candles. How many do you have left?" The child said, "I have 3 left." He says, "No. 5 candles, you blew out 2. How many do you have left?"
You still have 5 candles, you just have the flames.
Oh, so it's close. So the father told him, "No, you have 2 candles left because you blew them out, so they're left. The other ones are going to burn down. You only have 2 left." So I was thinking, it's one of these jokes, but it has a little bit to do with today, because when you give tzedakah, that's the only thing you have left, really. Whatever you give, that's what remains for eternity. Whatever you keep in your bank account doesn't remain. It's the opposite of what you think. It's like this riddle. You think that, oh, you blew out 2, so you have 3 left. No, you blew out 2, you have 2 left. You give tzedakah, you have 2 left. Whatever you give, that's what you have. I said this a few times this week. I want to say it again here in this house. I want to be zoicha. The story was, David contacted me. He wanted to speak to me. A lot of people call me, and I ignore 99% of the people, including my wife, unfortunately. People I don't even know text me on my phone. I don't know how they get my number. They think I'm going to answer them. I can't answer anybody. I don't even answer business things, whatever. So he says, "I want to talk to you about a donation." I've heard that before. Basically, it means I want to give you $18. So I'm like, "No, thank you. Like, I don't have time now." Anyway, I was speaking to my son. So I said, did you call David Salomon? I said, "Why should I call him?" He says, "I just spoke to him. He's a good guy. Call him up." So call him up. He says, "I want to give you a donation." I said, "Okay, very nice." He tells me the amount. So that was probably one of the largest donations of the year. I said, "Very good. Yishmak. What do you want?" He said, "I want you to say e-copiers." I said, I don't promote businesses and share. A lot of people, the different organizations, different things. I can't, sorry. He says, "Okay, just say leadership with my father. Maybe you'll put it on the bottom." I said, "Okay, deal." However, I said, "Nachamol, I do chazara." You got to do the share. You can't just give me money. You need to be able to do the share. Could you do the share? He said, "Yeah, I'm going to try it out." Fine. And that was history. So he told me that he's never missed a daf since that day. And as you know, he also brought 10 people this year. He put on a status, brought 10 people. He gave them ear pods, whatever. Anybody here? What are the ear pod guys?
Not as a new guy.
Okay. You're ear pod guy. And he told me, and he said it, Barabim, that the shir changed his life, made a big difference. This is a case of a person, Mamish, one of the biggest cases that I know. Guy came, he thought he's giving. And Lamaisa he received. At the end of the day, he received that. Doesn't matter the number that he gave. Whatever he gave, he received 10 times back, 10 times more, if not more. You'll ask him, he'll tell you. And that's how it is. When you give tzedakah, you think you're giving. You're not giving. You're taking back. If you give to a good cause, it comes back to you. That's what you have for eternity. So Be'ezer Hashem, you should continue to be a giver. You should be able to receive the hashpah that it has and continue immersing yourself in Torah and bring more people to Torah. It's huge, huge. All right, you still do the group?
We have to bring other people different ways.
No, but I'm saying you're on top of them, that they should do the daf, that kind of thing. What? What about it? I don't. I'm not a pusher for that. MDYmonthly.com. Okay, yeah. I don't push other things. I don't push my. Once in a while I do. Fine. Zok the Gemara. Boy Rebbe Lazar. We said once the par goes outside of the Beis Hamikdash, anybody dealing with it becomes tameh. What happens if they came back inside? So the Gemara's question is very interesting. The Gemara's question is, would it remove the tumah retroactively? That's basically the Gemara's question. Once they went out, so they caused tumah. Once it comes back in, it is able to remove retroactively the tumah. Let me show you this video. This was from Friday, but I cut it down so you don't have to go through the whole thing. As they come out of the Beis Hamikdash, they become tamei. This guy becomes tamei red, and then the second guy becomes red. Sounds weird now, but it was a gishmaki video. So as the first ones come out of the wall, they become tamei. They become so tamei that their own clothing become tamei. And the back ones, they have to come out in order to become tamei. And if you understand that as soon as they leave, they become tamei. Those who remain inside, they should become tamei. Why don't they become tamei? It's a raya from the fact that they don't become tamei, that since this animal, if it came back inside, it would remove the tumah. They also, it's kilo that they're back inside. That's why they're not tamei. That's how the Gemara understands. Nachamal, the guys that remain inside should become tamei. The reason they're not tamei, because it's as if they came back inside. If the animal had come back inside, it would make them tahar l'chatchila. So therefore, they are tahar now. It's interesting svara. Omer Avina v'tizbara. In order for them to become tamei, they have to be able to fulfill the pasuk va'achar yavai elamachana. In other words, they have to leave. In order to become tamei, you have to be in a position that you're able to come back. The reason why they're tar is because they never left. What was his question? Keep going. I'm surprised. I'm surprised that Yoshi didn't do a bekulse. Bekulse is basically to have like a fishing rod outside of the Beis Hamikdash and pull the animal out through a fishing rod, some sort of stick. You have these bulls and the Sarah Mishtaleach. The bulls that you burn and the Sarah Mishtaleach is the goat. Here we have a little video from back in the day. It says that in the time of, I forgot which bayis, the bones would, when they threw it off, this is the Sarah Mishtaleach Azazel, they'll literally throw it off a mountain, and all its limbs, it's a tough one to watch, all its limbs would break. Later generations, they would just let it go, and then people would steal it, the shoididim would grab it. Fine. The one who that throws off this goat from the mountain, and the one burning the parim, and taking it out of the their clothing becomes tam. But the dead animal doesn't have the power to be mitama a beged. It cannot be mitama clothing, but it could be mitama other foods. Divrei Rabbi Meir. Yeah, so this animal that you threw off the mountain, it itself doesn't, it's not matama clothing, but it's matama food. They make a distinction. The par, and the ones that are burned, they are matama food. But the goat that fell off the mountain, that not. Shuchai. When it's alive, it's not matama. Because you never have a situation where a live animal can be matama food. Says Gemara Bishlam, the Remeir, Kedetana, the Rebbe Shmuel. Remeir is going to hold like Rebbe Shmuel. The Tana, Rebbe Shmuel, Akol Zera Zerua. You have like a sheretz that touched this the seeds. Mazroim Shein Soifim Latama Tuma Chamura. These seeds that are never going to become avatuma. So just to remind the Olam, if you're part of MDY, you know this chart Balpeh. Well, it's kedai to see it all the time. Here we go. So it starts with Avi Avois Hatuma. The strongest Tuma is a dead person. It's Avi Avois Hatuma. And the way Tuma works, it just steps down one level. Every time you touch it, that Tuma, you become one level below that. So if a human being touches Avi Avois Hatuma, if a human being touches a dead person, he becomes an Avatuma. An Avatuma could also be like a sheretz, a zav. If an Avatuma touches a person, a kli, that becomes one step less, it becomes a rishon. If a rishon touches food, that food becomes one step less, a sheni. If a sheni touches, let's say, kachim, it already basically starts stopping at the sheni level, but it could go to shlishi, even a revi, sometimes to chamishi. Fine. So these zroim, they'll never become an avatuma. They won't become an avatuma. They'll never become like a sheretz. In order for usually, most food items, in order for them to become tameh, they need a hechsher tumah. They have to be susceptible to tumah. How do you make something susceptible to tumah? With the Shivas HaMashkin, we have something new here today. This is from our Israeli. We have a fourth artist that works on the weekends. He's now in Miluim, he's in the army, and he's a married guy. Somehow he's able to fit this into his schedule. So it's very interesting what he did here.
Banana, you're tameh. You have to go to the mikveh and immerse.
Nonsense.
Don't lie to me. I saw you shaking hands with a dead mouse. I saw you at a funeral in a Beit Kevarot. I saw a Metzora holding you.
To eat? Ve'unai lo.
True, but I don't have Heksher Tuma. No matter what happens, no matter what I touch, I'm tahor.
Yain, Devash, Shemen Chalau, Tal Damayim.
What are you doing here?
You heard him, guys? He has no Heksher Tuma. Let's take care of that.
So, Mazrav shein tzavim l'tamatuma chamuro tzricham hechsher, afkol shein tzavim l'tamatuma chamuro tzricham hechsher. So we learn from that everything else also has to be something that at least could have a tuma chamura and a hechsher tuma. Yotzas nivlas oif tahar shesoif l'tamat tuma chamura ve'ein tzricha hechsher. This comes to exclude the very interesting halacha when it comes to a kosher bird. A kosher bird, if you touch it, you don't become tameh. But if you swallow it, then you become tameh. Yeah, this is which I don't even know what to show you guys. What was this? I don't remember anymore. Hold on. The chicken is this guy, but it's something else. No. This is in the beginning of AI. It wasn't so. Oh, this is the guy, yeah. Same one. You know this one? soon as he eats it, he turns red, becomes tummy. Oh. Hello, Rabbanon, the Gemara asks, according to Rabbanon, Yislu, the Tana de Rabbi Shmuel, Afilu Sar Mishtaleach. If Memanav Shach, how do they make a distinction between the Sar Mishtaleach and the other Karbanas? If they hold like Rabbi Shmuel, then even the Sar Mishtaleach should be Matama. Ilesle, Afilu Parim Menolan. So why is that the Parim are Matama and the Sar Mishtaleach not? They said in Eretz Yisrael, Tzrichim Hechsher Tuma Mimakam Acher. You need another source for the Tumah, and therefore the Azazel, the Sarah Mishtaleach, that's why it can't become Tameh, because it doesn't have another source for Tumah. Boyer Belazar, Paramu Usiir Manisraf and Maushi Tamu Ochlimu Mashkim Bifnim Kibachutz. So there's another interesting, a bunch of shilas from Belazar, very interesting questions. Another one is this bull that you burn, Yom Kippur bull, let's call it Yom Kippur bull. Can it create Tumah inside the Beis HaMikdash? Just like outside of the Beis HaMikdash, it creates Tumah. Why? We say the fact that, okay, it has to go outside, but now it's almost outside, you almost took it outside, maybe it should be able to create Tumah inside. They said no. No, it's still missing action. You have to take action, take it outside of the Beis HaMikdash. Of course, when it's inside the Beis HaMikdash, it's not metame. Oh, so now that we saw this chicken thing, this kosher bird, how much do you have to swallow in order to become tameh? A kazayis. What? Yeah, in your throat as you swallow it. But you need how much? A kazayis. Typically speaking, the shear to be metama is not a kazayis, it's kibetza. So he asks like this: this nevela of a bird, can it be metama other things when it's only kazayis? So what does that mean? I just want to make sure. Rashi says over here. I just want to make sure that it wasn't. Oh. Save it over here. Not sure why. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I don't want to jump over here and say it over here. I'll say that on the base. Kol parim. This nivla soif tar. Can it be metama other things with the kazayis? Says the Gemara explains. The machtala, if it's, what's the Gemara's question? It says in the Torah that it's metama person when you swallow. So what is he asking now? Can it be metama other things with the kazayis? So the Gemara explains. The machtala aro leitibaylach. If it's on the ground, it's pashut that it doesn't do anything. The nokat bepume. Why it doesn't do anything? Because it's not metama unless you swallow it. Now, if it's in your mouth, the nokat bepume leitibaylach. Of course, it's pashut that if you eat a kazayis, you become tameh. So what's the question? You're holding it in your hand, and it's a similar question to what he asked before. You're holding it, you're about to put it in your mouth. Since it's a very small action between what you have, the truth is, let me just turn this around for a second. I haven't shown the oil here. Everybody could wave. Maybe I'll go like this. Oh, Eli Rizal's here. Who? Where's Moshe? Oh, Moshe. Shalom Aleichem, Moshe. Salman. Very worried about his brother. Here, let's turn this way. Oh. David's somewhere in there, but this gimbal doesn't want to go that way. Okay. You got like this. And now, I got to flip it around. Okay. Shkoyach. So here's his question. It's 2 inches away from his throat, and in his throat, it's metama. So since it's just missing that you just got to go like this, maybe it should be metama. Says Gemara, Basa the Baya, the Pashto, Daf Kofhem and Beis, Mechusar Kriva, Lavke Mechusar Maisadami. It's pella. It's a pella that the Gemara understands. No, it's as if it's in your mouth, and therefore it's metama. No. Oh, turn it down. Oh, you want to say it here? Go ahead. Say it. Go, say it.
Adar Global, special experts in international payments.
Next.
Encore Healthcare, Lizchus Refuah Shlima,
Layeled.
Michal Ben Shulamis, Lizchus Hatzacha, L'Kol Klal Yisrael.
Amen. Shkaya, Givaldik, you're hired. Eisvei. The 13 things that occur with this bird that we're talking about. You have to think that you want to eat this bird. So Rashi says a very interesting thing that we're talking about, that it's less than a kazayas. You hear this? Less than a kazayas, in combination with less than an egg worth of some other food. Together, what do we have? A full egg's worth of food. If you thought that you're going to eat this bird, then it's mitzvah. If you didn't, then it's not mitzvah. Again, you have less than a kazayas bird. You need, in order to become tummy from a bird, you need a full kazayas. You have less than a kazayas bird, dead kosher bird, with less than a kabetza, some other food, because all other foods you need a kabetza to be matama. You're taking this tiny piece of bird, putting it together in the same whatever, you're holding it together. Does it become a kabetza of tuma? If the answer is, if you thought that you're going to eat it, then yes. If not, not. Tzricha machshava. Ve'ein tzricha hechsher. You don't need to pour water on it or be machshir l'kabel tumah. Umet tama tumas oichlin b'kabetza. It says mefurish that you need an egg's worth. My lab, Rav Meiri. Rav Meir himself said that you need kazayas. Over here, all of a sudden, you need a kabetza. Says the Gemara, loy rabbanani. You're right. It's not Rav Meir. It's Rabbana. As the Gemara, but I have a problem. The classic Gemara. Reisha tzricha machshava ve'in tzricha hechsher. The Reisha says that you need machshava and you don't need hechsher tuma. Uman shamis lei haisvar. Who holds that? Rav Meir. So the Reisha goes according to Rav Meir. With the Reisha Rav Meir, Sefer not Rav Meir. Yeah, doesn't the Reisha and the Sefer have to match? Midir, no, mapitom. Haki this, haki this. The Reisha can be Rav Meir, the Sefer can be Rabbana. You take a bird and you shecht it, or you do malika with your finger. The process you do in the Beis Hamikdash, even though you find out it's a treifa, because you did the right thing, you did the shechita, you did the malika, it's not considered an avela. It's metayr from treifa. The tumasa. Man shamas le'haisfar, who holds this? Remeir. So now we have a problem. It's like a sandwich. Reish of a seifa Remeir. The top and the bottom are Remeir. In the middle, Mitzvah Rabbanan. How could that be? In Reish of a seifa Remeir, Mitzvah Rabbanan, not a problem. Okay. Next sugya. Omer Rav Amnun Rav Zera. Lo teisev akaroch. Ada amris li hom milsa. I don't want you to sit, keep standing until you tell me what's pshat. I know they say the Chassam Sofer, most of his life he stood when he was learning. Rabbi Viezer Pilz, the Rosh Yeshiva in Tifrach today, I think he stands, they say, because if he sits, he'll fall asleep. Who else? I know there's a lot of Gedolim, because I think they used to, we learned once that they used to learn Torah standing up, but you read the Sadaris, so they decided that we're able to sit. Okay? Otherwise, we'd all be standing right now. He said, don't sit down until you tell me pshat. Nivlas oif tar l'Rav Meir. Monin l'rishayin v'sheni. This nevela, does it create a rishayin? In other words, if the nevela touches food, does the food become a rishayin? Which in return, that rishayin, which touches another food, it goes down one level, so it become a sheni. Maybe it's a special halacha that only a human being becomes tummy through it, but it doesn't have the power to make other food rishon and sheni. If a human being could touch it and he becomes tamei, then it has the power to make food rishon and sheni. How about this bird? This bird doesn't have the. If you touch a dead bird, a dead kosher bird, you don't become tamei. Therefore, a minim by rishon v'sheni. Therefore, it doesn't have the power to make other food items a rishon or a sheni, or a rishon which afterwards becomes a sheni. I don't know what Yoshi was doing here. You'll have to help me out over here. The picture is great. I wasn't sure. Here you have two half a shiurim of food. Two half a shiurim of food, but they're connected with like electricity through water. Can you take one of the pieces of food? In other words, it cannot make a person tamei. That's what he's showing, that the person is tar. But it'll make food tamei. Very good. You see, chumrah it won't make. Now the question is, could that food, now that's a rishon, could that food make another food a sheni? You hear the shaila? Again, let's go back. Very good. He did nicely. Here's a human being touching a half a kibetza. Yeah? The half a kibetza is connected to the other half a kibetza through water. So the human being remains tahar. Why? Because it's tum chamura. If you do the same thing with food, the food becomes tameh. Why? Because now you have a full shear of tumah. How do you have a full shear of tumah? Because the two pieces are connected through the liquid. So it's metama the apple. The question is, can the apple, now that becomes tameh, the rishon, he's a rishon, could he make something else a sheni? Could he, by touching another food? So here, this is what he did. Let me go to the next slide. This apple that touches a half a shear becomes tameh. Why? Because the shear is connected through the water. So now it's a complete tameh. Now he touches another food. Does the other food become tameh? Question mark. You have this was very good. You have two pieces of food that are connected through liquid. It's a good connection to make a food tameh. However, it doesn't make a human being tameh. Can that food make another food tameh? If it can make another human being tameh, then it has the power to make food tameh. If it cannot make another person tameh, listen to this. It cannot make a rishon, but it could make a sheni. You have to put that in with a pencil. It seems like not. It says a moinen by rishon v'sheni, but it means it cannot make a rishon, but it could make a sheni. Yatzu elevelu. Both, everybody holding this par that's going to be burnt in the Beis Hadeshen, as soon as the second group left, they become tamei as well. How do we know? So you have the three machnas. Here we have the three camps. First camp is the machna Shechina, the Beis Hamikdash. Second camp is the machna Levir and the Har Bayis, and the third camp is Yerushalayim. So it says by Par Kohen Gadol that it has to be outside of the three machnas. V'kan l'machna achas. By the Par of Yom Kippur, it says one camp. Lo emer lach. Given sheyatzu chutz l'machna, this comes to teach you that as soon as it went out of one machna, chutz l'machna achas mitama b'gadim. It has the power to be mitama the person all the way down to his clothing. V'hi guva minolan. How do I know that? Who said? The Tanur Rabbanon. So this is very interesting. It says v'hoitzis kol apar el mechutz l'machna chutz l'shalosh machnas. Atoimer chutz l'shalosh machnas oyed el machnas. Maybe it only means v'hoitzis es kol apar el mechutz l'machna. Chutz l'machna means one. Who told you out of three? Out of all three camps? Kishuoimer b'paro eida michutz l'machna shein tzarich loimer. Oh, so the Gemara does the same thing three times. It says by para eda you should take it out of the machna. But why? She'in tzarich loimer. Shekfei nemar kasher sarav es apar rishon. The Torah says burn it the same way you burnt the first bull, which is mechutz l'machna. Oh, from the fact that the Torah says mechutz l'machna, it adds one. Lidin loy machna shniya. So now you have to take it out of the second machna. So now we have another pasuk. We do the same thing again. It It says that when the kohen removes, there's a lot of coals. So once in a while, you have to do a real removal, and you take it outside of the base of Mikdash completely to the desha. Over there also it says Sharei Karnemar al Shevach Hadesh Yisarev. So why does it say Mechutz Lamachna? This is to add to the second one that we just said before, to a third one. Reb Shimon, what does Reb Shimon do with us? It has to be to the east by the Paraduma. It has to be outside of the three machnes. Plus, it has to be to the east of Yerushalayim. Afkan lemizracha shel Yerushalayim. Rabboisai, have a wonderful day. Yishkoyach for coming. Akutavach here in America. Thank you so much.
Merit the schus of spreading Torah throughout the world. Sponsor a shir today. MDYsponsor.com or sponsor at MDYDaf.com.